Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
This is another interesting question. Do Andromedans use jewelry? And if yes, how it looks like and what is it made of? What is Andromedan's creativity?
That's a great question, and I don't really have enough data on that. I have never seen them wearing any type of jewelry at all. I haven't seen earrings, rings, necklaces of any type. Now that not necessarily means that they don't, but in the environment that I was in, it was, well, for the first 45 days, it was rather sterile, only because there were things that I couldn't see. For example, when I would walk out of my quarters, there was a walkway, and whenever I was walking it, Mornay would always be there, and he would take me by the arm, and he by the arm up here, and he would walk me along this what looked like a path. What I didn't know is that there was a slight incline. It was a bridge, and there was a great deal of water underneath, which I did not see. I didn't know it was even there until eventually it began to show itself, or my consciousness began to see it, because it became accustomed to whatever it was that I was looking at. And I shared this in earlier videos. There were colors that I can't even describe, or plants. There were animals that I never saw, and they were everywhere. But I never saw them because my mind had no way of associating it with what I was seeing with what I know here in third density. That's how different the two particular dimensions and realities are. So it could be that there were things there that I just simply didn't see. I did not recognize as anything associated with Earth or our reality. And that would be on me. That would totally be on me. So I don't know. Maybe they have big soirees and shindigs, huge celebrations, and they have outfits and costumes and things of that nature that they express, where they express themselves. Maybe they even dance. I was not privy to any of that in the area that I was allowed to move in. And that area was so big that even if I had the free will to roam around wherever I wanted, assuming I could see everything so I wouldn't hurt myself or hurt someone else or hurt any other living creature that was there, it was probably too big for me to cover even within the 90 days that I was there. I mean, just the park area was like 22 miles. And then they had all these quarters around it. And then they had all of these other facilities in levels that supported the living quarters and the park area. I mean, no shit, it was enormous. And this was just one part of the mothership. It was absolutely enormous. And literally, you know, by day 80, I'm guessing, because I kind of lost all track of time there, I was like, oh my God, look at this. It was profound. It was absolutely profound. And I loved it, which is why I wanted to stay. Okay, next question.
So a little supplement on that. How do you travel around? I mean, how do you get from level to level? Do they have like a lift sort of system?
Yeah.
Is it teleport?
Yes.
Or,
I would walk, and I was never allowed to use the lift by myself. Mornay was always there. And what we would do is we would get in the lift, and he would say, he'd put his hand on my shoulder, and he would put a thought into my head, and he would say, okay, level 2. And I would look at him and say, level 2. We're at level 2. And there was no motion. There was no sinking feeling. It was just, you're there. But it was some kind of a mechanical device where you would say level 2, you're there. And it would happen just that quick. It's very similar technology to what he has in his ship, okay, in his starship. You know, he's got 7 floors in his ship, and you can go the floors. You just think of the level you want, and you're there just like that. It's remarkable. I just wasn't allowed to roam wherever I wanted because I could not see everything that was there. And it's not that I was blind, it's just that my mind did not know how to interpret the environment that I was in. And I know that may not make sense to some folks. But have you ever been in a place where you go in and you have no idea what you're looking at? It was like that multiplied 100 times. It was different, really, really different. And there were times I felt like I should have been put in a baby stroller so I wouldn't hurt myself. So, you know, the kids, they had the ability to levitate and then move. Literally just come up off the ground and then just move in the direction that they wanted. I didn't have that skill. Of course, I was never taught that skill, you know, where they are taught those skills. We're not taught those skills here. We're taught that that kind of thing is impossible because of gravity. So, of course, you know, we limit ourselves to those belief systems. But that's a whole nother story.
Hi, Alex. I imagine you are aware of the electric universe theory, that Saturn was once in Earth's northern sky and was much closer than it is now. If you agree with that idea, what beings or what enormous force moved Saturn to the orbit it has today?
What was his name? Ray H?
Yes.
Okay. Ray, you have that backwards. Earth was in a different location. It was deeper into our solar system, closer to Saturn. Earth was moved into its present location. Just for the record. And yes, I'm familiar with the electric universe. I've talked about it for years. What was the rest of it? What kind of beings? Something?
What beings or what enormous force moved Saturn to the orbit it has today? All right,
Okay.
let's rephrase that. What beings or what enormous force moved Earth to the orbit it has today?
Well, there are many star nations that have the technological ability to move planets, to shift orbits. They can do this. All you have to do is create a non-gravitational shield between a star or a gravitational field of something, whether it be a dwarf star, doesn't matter. You can create a field in between and then move it. This does in fact happen. The Anunnaki, or those of Nibiru, they have this technological ability to do this. So did many of the original Orion star groups. So do the Seekar. So do the Lyrans now. So did some of the Pleiadians. This is not science fiction. It is to us, but it is not to them. It's science fact. I mean, if you're a star nation and you are building starships and you need specific minerals and they're in another part of the galaxy, instead of transporting the stuff back and forth, why not just take the moon and bring it to you? Especially if it's a free floating, especially if it's just meandering around in the galaxy or on the outside of the galaxy. Hook it up, not literally, but attach a gravitational pull to it and drag it to where you want it to be, or transport it to where you want to be using a portal. You know, you can do this. I mean, this has been done. In fact, it's currently being done in our own solar system. We just added 29 new moons, or I'm sorry, 41 new moons to Jupiter and Saturn. They just weren't moseying around and found perfect geosynchronistic orbits around these two planets that already have an overabundance of moons. No. There is a design, an intentional design going on here. You guys just don't, most people here just don't know about it because you're not being told. NASA will drop little hints here and there, but no one asks the other questions. Well, how is it possible that these just perfectly came into alignment? They're not going to tell us because they're not ready to genuinely tell us about the extraterrestrial presence, or the fact that not only have they been here, but there's life, all kinds of life in our solar system already. They prefer us stupid because we're easier to control. So in a few more weeks, as they lose more and more of their power and their influence, you know, we just might hear more and more of the truth coming out. So Look at our moon. We know it's artificial. Science admits it. Okay? And based on the laws of physics, it's too big to be a part of our atmosphere. It's too big. And yet here it is. And yet here it is. So, there's a lot of things that are right in front of us that people are not paying attention to, or they simply can't comprehend the next series of questions that follow that. Well, if it's artificial, why is it artificial? Why is it even here? How did it get here? Where did it come from? Those are logical next step questions. Most people can't be bothered with that. Those people who are awake, they're asking those questions. And we're beginning to get a lot of answers now. And it's Tom Horn, to his credit, went to Mount Graham and talked to the astronomers there, the astrophysicists that were running those telescopes there for not only the government, but for the Vatican. And the astrophysicists showed him the Lucifer addition to their telescope, which was infrared. And, Tom Horn said that they told him that they're looking for something, but a lot of times the UFOs, the motherships, get in the way. They just flat out said that to him. And he's repeated that. That's what he was told by these astrophysicists. Oh yeah, they're looking for something that's coming, but the UFOs and starships get in the way. Very casually said that. So don't think they don't know. They just don't want you to know. And of course, we know what they're looking for. They're looking for Planet X. They're looking for Nibiru, the dwarf star. It's exactly what they're looking for. So, change is here. It's here. It's all around us. And just buckle up. Just buckle up. It's going to be exciting. It really is.
In 1996, my mind drifts back, at the ranch, you read a transmission from Morine where he said, our different Terran skin tones come from an edema damage to our blood caused by radiation and nuclear weapons in our past. Lately, we've been exploring the idea of our different skin colors coming from different solar systems. I'm confused. Can you offer some clarity on this?
Okay, well, I don't know who you're referring to when you say we're exploring. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Lauren, there. I stand by what Morine did say, but let's just follow this out. Let's just play this thing out. There are extraterrestrial races that are of different skin tone. And primarily the skin tone, my understanding is, has to do with environmental issues. And it also has to do with frequency waves of their particular stars. Now, there may be in fourth density, maybe even in third, I'm not exactly sure, skin tones that are similar, but they would not be exactly the same. So if you live in a particular solar system, the best example I can give you is one that I know for sure. and that would be the A's. They're light blue skinned. And some even have a darker blue tone hue to them. Now, in that process, the reason they are that color has to do with their genetics. It has to do with the environmental, the environment that they live in, which has to do with water, food, the frequency of their planets, the frequency that they have with their plant food, etc. Also their sun. Primarily it's their sun. The wave, the frequency waves, the phases of light that they use, that their sun emanates. Within that band of color, you will have those particular colors. Now, they have colors that we would know, but they also have colors we've never seen. And in fact, it would take us a while being in their presence before those colors would actually begin to be seen by our mind. In other words, it would take a while for our brains to adjust to the frequency of those colors because we've never been exposed to it. It's not like it just happens like this. On our frequency, where we have a band of 72 light waves, we would have all those colors. Now, there are races in our light frequency that are third density that are black, absolutely black. We don't have that here. We have tones that are purple. They're literally violet. We don't have those here. There are races that are deep, deep, dark blue. We don't have that here. We have races that are emerald green in color, going into like a deep forest grayish green is the only way I know how to describe it. We don't have those here. There are red races. We don't actually have that here. Now, what we do have is a spectrum of races that the pigmentation has been altered. And that alteration had to do, so I'm told, okay, I wasn't there when this all happened, but there were several nuclear wars or nuclear weapons that were used on our planet between extraterrestrial races. The Anunnaki, unfortunately, were involved in all of those separate issues. They're the one constant player in this. And then there were races from off-world that were involved or that were here. Something happened. I don't exactly know. You know, the Indian texts from India, they talk a lot about these particular wars. And basically who these people were. I think they even make reference to some of the colors of the races. However, my understanding is that over a period of hundreds and hundreds of years, the pigmentation of our race altered. A lot of that had to do with the level of radiation. It also had to do with how they treated their radiation sickness. For example, some races were able to maintain a stronger copper presence in their bloodstream. This, in fact, helped them maintain an original type of whatever skin color they were. It maintained, and then through interracial breeding, those tones changed even more so. There are other races where their pigmentation of their skin changed dramatically. They no longer at all look like the original root race. One of those would be the Caucasian race. The copper blood content, I guess because we were closer to the radiation, the copper in our blood, we virtually lost most of it or all of it. And the herbs and the plants and the things that these different races used to treat their radiation sickness, and a lot of the content in those plants and herbs to treat this radiation sickness has to do with the soil. The nutrition, the minerals in the soil also contributed to creating the pigmentation in the skin, the changes in the skin. My understanding is that originally most of us were a red race, like the Egyptians, like the Mayans. That was the predominant color of our race, of the workers that were created to work the mines. And during the radiation, during the wars, the extraterrestrials would leave in their starships, leaving humanity here because we were expendable. And we would have to figure it out. And, one of the major characteristics of the human race here is that we figure out how to figure it out. So we went from red to white to black to yellow. That's what I've been told. I'm sure we will all find out soon enough, as a lot of this information is disclosed, because they're going to have to tell us about our history. And, there is evidence all over the planet of the detonation of nuclear weapons in the past. Even here in America, in the Southwest, there is evidence of weapons, nuclear weapons going off. All kinds of things. Lasers. Yeah. So that's a great question, Lauren. Thank you very, very much for that.
Isn't it?
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.